Okay. It's the 23rd of April. I did a video earlier, and I read to you guys about the first vision. And I had problems with the dog. So anyway, I think those problems will be over with now. His buddy has been to see him, and he's taking care of his business, and now he's laying down quiet. So hopefully that'll be what needs to happen. I said I'd come back and read Moroni's visit. It's all part of the same story, the Joseph Smith story, okay? When it began. I guess it began way in the pre-existence, because he was foreordained, chosen from one of the great noble ones. Things were decided before he came, what was going to be happening, as far as he is the prophet of the restoration. So, it wasn't what he did in life that brought him to that place. Anyway, he died for that which he taught us, for that which he brought back. He was an instrument in God's hands, and he paid a heavy price, a very heavy price, to bring that book to light, to organize the church, to gain all of the priesthood keys. I don't understand all that stuff, but there are things going on that we don't know. That's a song. I had to say it. Yeah. Have you ever lived down in the ghetto? Well, you don't know what I mean. You stand up and scream because there's things going on that you don't know. But that was just an off track of what I was thinking about. Just like what happened to Joseph Smith, just picture it in all of the world. He's this little boy, young man. And it's not on social media, and it's not, everybody doesn't know about it. It's just between him and the Lord. Him and God and Jesus Christ. God the Father, don't forget, there's God the Father, God the Son. Very confusing, I'm sure. So I was confused for years, and I still, every once in a while, get confused. But just have to remember, God the Father is all of our Father in heaven is the Father of our spirit. He is also the Father of Jesus Christ's spirit, okay? But Jesus Christ was the firstborn spirit to our mother and father in heaven. I don't know how all that works, because they say the spirit is eternal, which means it came from where? No beginning and no end. I don't understand. Kind of like the same thing, the chicken or the egg, but not. Anyway, I just like to talk, and it is going to be a beautiful day outside, and I think that, I mean, I've been to a tanning bed once a week, probably for 3 or 4 weeks now. I mean, I might have a little color, but I'm not really seeing it. Not as if I was outside in the sun. Today is a day that I could actually go out there and get some sun. I might have to just go sit out on the back porch. I know. I said I'm going to go walk. I have to get dressed. I'm terrible. I made a mistake. Look at this. My super greens that I bought the last time were chocolate flavored. Very good. This is, I reordered it because I was out, you know, I'm fixing to be out, basically. And there it is. It's green. It's not chocolate flavored. I was so fast to order, I didn't order it right, evidently. I don't know. So, a little disappointed in that, but I'll just have to have it. Maybe I'll go back to making my smoothie. I haven't made my smoothie in a little while. I need to. Anyway, we'll just see. There's a little bit left, and I will definitely have it. I just opened it this morning, and there it goes. I guess my battery's fixing to be dead. Let's see. Take the charger from there, put it over to here. Well, I didn't hear anything do anything except for that. I know it should be charging, so it's a beautiful morning. Think I'll go outside for a while and just smile and take in some clean, fresh air, boy. Ha! Like we can get some clean, fresh air. Actually, it does seem like it. At least we're not. I'm not living in smog. It does seem like it's clean and fresh, especially if you've been around where there's a fire. It's that season again, probably, you know. And camping season will be coming up, and people out there need to be careful. And then sometimes there's fires start on purpose. I don't know, whatever happened with the California fires? Don't hear very much about it now. Do 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 do. I am a mess. And yes, a mess should be a character. And that's kind of what I are. I'm a character. No, I don't like you. You're a bad dog. I'm mad at you. But I'll get over it. Any old who. Okay, so I thought I would read about Moroni's vision. And while I was off, I went and made me some bookmarks. I took my thank you card that I had and cut it up into pieces. So I have thin, flat, bookmarks. So my book isn't going to be all fat. I was just looking to see what the dog was doing. Not very happy with him, but I guess I can't blame him. So I'll just not worry about that. Let me see, where are we? Moroni's visit. Okay. Not sure how long this will be either. It's several pages. But this is what I promised. I know I promised some other things too, but I didn't do. But I'll try to do this one. Okay. This is Moroni's visit, is what it says. I continued to pursue my common vocations in life until the 21st of September, 1823. All the time suffering severe persecution at the hands of all classes of men, both religious and irreligious, because I continued to affirm that I had seen a vision. During the space of time which intervened between the time I had the vision and the year 1823, having been forbidden to join any of the religious sects of the day, and being of very tender years, and persecuted by those who ought to have been my friends, and to have been treated me kindly. Okay, I didn't do that right somehow. Ought to have been my friends, and to have treated me kindly. And if they supposed me to be deluded, to have endeavored in a proper and affectionate manner to have reclaimed me, I was left to all kinds of temptations, and mingling with all kinds of society, I frequently fell into many foolish errors, and displayed the weakness of youth, and the foibles of human nature, which I am sorry to say led me into diverse temptations, offensive in the sight of God. In making this confession, no one need suppose me guilty of any great malignant sins. A disposition to commit such was never in my nature. In consequence of these things, I often felt condemned for my weakness and imperfections, when on the evening of the above-mentioned 21st of September, after I had retired to bed for the night, I betook myself to prayer and supplication to Almighty God for forgiveness of all my sins and follies, and also for a manifestation to me, that I might know of my state and standing before him. For I had full confidence in obtaining a divine manifestation, as I previously had done. While I was thus in the act of calling upon God, I discovered a light appearing in my room, which continued to increase until the room was lighter than at noonday, when immediately a personage appeared at my bedside, standing in the air, for his feet did not touch the floor. He had on a loose robe of most exquisite whiteness. It was a whiteness beyond anything earthly I had ever seen, nor do I believe that any earthly thing could be made to appear so exceedingly white and brilliant. His hands were naked, and his arms also, a little above the wrist. So also were his feet naked, as were his legs, and a little above, his legs a little above the ankles. His head and neck were also bare. I could discover that he had no other clothing on but this robe, as it was open, so that I could see into his bosom. Not only was his robe exceedingly white, but his whole person was glorious beyond description, and his countenance truly like lightning. The room was exceedingly light. Okay, wait a minute. The room was extremely light, but not so very bright as immediately around his person. When I first looked upon him, I was afraid, but the fear soon left me. He called me by name and said unto me that he was a messenger sent from the presence of God to me, and that his name was Moroni, that God had a work for me to do, and that my name should be had for good and evil among all nations. Strange. Oh, goodness. Okay. I was trying to get that sentence out before I had to cough, and that didn't work. Okay, let's see. I made tears come in my eyes. And liquid come out my mouth. My goodness. I'm a mess. All right, so where was I? Okay, right where my fingernail is. So if I get tears in my eyes, I can't see. Okay, and that my name should be had for good and evil among all nations, kindreds, and tongues, or that it should be both good and evil spoken of among all people. He said there was a book deposited, written upon gold plates, giving an account of the former inhabitants of this continent, and the source from whence they sprang. He also said that the fullness of the everlasting gospel was contained in it, as delivered by the Savior to the ancient inhabitants. He's talking about 3rd Nephi. Also that there were 2 stones in silver bows, and these stones fastened to a breastplate constituted what is called the Urim and Thummim, deposited with the plates, and the possession and use and use of these stones were what constituted seers in ancient and former times, and that God had prepared them for the purpose of translating the book. After telling me these things, he commenced quoting the prophets of the Old Testament. He first quoted part of the 3rd chapter of Malachi, and he quoted also the 4th or last chapter of the same prophecy, though with a little variation from the way it reads in our Bible. Instead of quoting the first verse as it reads in our books, he quoted it thus: For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall burn as stubble. For they that come shall burn them, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. And again he quoted the 5th verse thus, "Behold, I will reveal unto you the priesthood by the hand of Elijah the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." He also quoted the next verse differently. "And he shall plant in the hearts of the children the promise made to the fathers, and the hearts of the children shall turn to their fathers." If it were not so, the whole earth would be utterly wasted at his coming. In addition to these, he quoted the 11th chapter of Isaiah, saying that it was about to be fulfilled. He quoted also the 3rd chapter of Acts, 22nd and 23rd verses, precisely as they stand in our New Testament. He said that prophet was Christ, but the day had not yet come when they who would not hear his voice should be cut off from among the people, but soon would come. He also quoted the 2nd chapter of Joel from the 28th verse to the last. He also said that this was not yet fulfilled, but was soon to be, and he further stated that the fullness of the Gentiles was soon to come in. He quoted many other passages of Scripture and offered many explanations which cannot be mentioned here. Again, he told me that when I got those plates of which he had spoken, for the time that they should be obtained was not yet fulfilled, I should not show them to any person, neither the breastplate with the Urim and Thummim, only to those to whom I should be commanded to show them, and if I did, I should be destroyed. While he was conversing with me about the plates, the vision was opened to my mind, that I could see the place where the plates were deposited, and that so clearly and distinctly that I knew the place again when I visited it. After this communication, I saw the light in the room begin to gather immediately around the person of whom, of him who had been speaking to me, and it continued to do so until the room was again left dark, except just around him, when instantly I saw, as it were, a conduit open right up into heaven, and he ascended till he entirely disappeared, and the room was left as it had been before this heavenly light had made its appearance. I lay musing on the singularity of the scene, and marveling greatly at what had been told to me by this extraordinary messenger, when in the midst of my meditation I suddenly discovered that my room was again beginning to get lighted, and in an instant, as it were, the same heavenly messenger was again by my bedside. He commenced and again related the very same things which he had done at his first visit, without the least variation, which having done, be informed informed me of great judgments which were coming upon the earth, with great desolations by famine, sword, and pestilence, and that these grievous judgments would come on the earth in this generation. Having related these things, he again ascended as he had done before. By this time, so deep were the impressions made in on my mind, that sleep had fled from my eyes, and I lay overwhelmed in astonishment at what I had both seen and heard. But what was my surprise when again I beheld the same messenger at my bedside, and heard him rehearse or repeat over again to me the same things as before, and added a caution to me, telling me that Satan would try to tempt me in consequence of the indigent circumstances of my father's family to get the plates for the purpose of getting rich. This he forbade me, saying that I must have no other object in view in getting the plates but to glorify God, and must not be influenced by any other motive than that of building his kingdom. Otherwise, I could not get them. After this third visit, he again ascended into heaven as before, and I was again left to ponder on the strangeness of what I had just experienced, when almost immediately after the heavenly messenger had ascended from me for the third time, the cock crowed, and I found that day was approaching, so that our interviews must have occupied the whole of that night. I shortly after arose from my bed and was and as usual went to the necessary labors of the day. But in attempting to work, as at other times, I found my strength so exhausted as to render me entirely unable. My father, who was laboring along with me, discovered something to be wrong with me and told me to go home. I started with the intention of going to the house, but in attempting to cross the fence out of the field where we were, my strength entirely failed me, and I fell helpless to the ground, and for a time was quite unconscious of anything. The first thing that I can recollect was a voice speaking unto me, calling me by name. I looked up and beheld the same messenger standing over my head, surrounded by light, as before, and then again related unto me all that he had related to me the previous night, and commanded me to go to my father and tell him of the vision and commandments which I had received. I obeyed. I returned to my father in the field and rehearsed the whole matter to him. He replied to me that it was of God, and told me to go and do as commanded by the messenger. I left the field and went to the place where the messenger had told me the plates were deposited, and owing to the distinction of the vision which I had had concerning it, I knew the place the instant that I arrived there. Okay, so then the next thing starts out, it says the sacred record. So I think we'll stop there. That was Moroni's visit. Now, there is something interesting, though. I mean, if we really wanted to do it, when he was first telling what Moroni rehearsed to him, the first time he said it all, he told what chapters and verses and books that he was quoting. So that would be really interesting to go over and find those, wouldn't it? So I'm wondering, okay, I turned right to it. Isn't that a strange thing? After telling me these things, he commenced quoting the prophecies of the Old Testament. He first quoted part of the 3rd chapter of Malachi. And he quoted also the fourth or last chapter of the same prophecy, though with a little variation. But he's telling us where to go look for that. It's just not exactly. In addition to these, he quoted the 11th chapter of Isaiah, saying that it was about to be fulfilled. So the 11th chapter of Isaiah, I wonder. Wanda. Isaiah is one of those hard ones too, so I'm not sure. Okay. I forget what I'm doing because I get distracted so easy. That's so sweet. Okay, I got totally distracted. I'm sorry. Now I'm going to laugh. Okay, so what I was going to do was look for that app, and there it is. Okay, and then I was going to go and see the 11th chapter of Isaiah. So that's going to be the Old Testament. Old Testament. Where's Isaiah? There he is. Okay. Isaiah. 11th chapter of Isaiah. You know, I was just having these thoughts in my head. How isn't it interesting that we can go and find things because someone's mapped it out for us? Someone's been there, someone knows, someone has written it for us so that we can go and check it out. And then I was thinking about how decoding, it's like decoding. You have a book to go to and you have a certain chapter to go to and certain verses to go to, and they give you clues or keys to understanding. Just tripping. Okay, so now we've gone to the 11th chapter of Isaiah. So in the synopsis, this is what it says: the stem of Jesse, and it's in parentheses, says Christ, will judge in righteousness. The knowledge about God will cover the earth in the millennium. The Lord will raise an ensign and gather Israel. And then it says, compare 2 Nephi 21. Interesting. It says, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord, and shall make him quick understanding, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord, and he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with a rod, with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. And the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. And the suckling child shall play on the hole of an asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. I don't know what that is. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign to the people, or of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and Shinar, and Hamath, and from the isles of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. He shall set an ensign. Okay, somebody got my attention, got me distracted. Okay, I'm almost done with that. Where was I? Okay, I already read that. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines, toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together, and shall slay their hand. Okay, I'm seeing things weird. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came out of the land of Egypt. I kind of got lost under that stuff, but like I've said, Isaiah is hard. So that's what he quoted, the 11th chapter of Isaiah, saying that it was about to be fulfilled. And I got a feeling the ensign would be Joseph Smith or the church, whichever. Okay, so he quoted also the 3rd chapter of Acts, 22nd and 23rd verse. So that's just 2 verses. We'll go see that. So now I've got to go to the New Testament. Go to Acts. And then what did it say? 3rd chapter of Acts. And then we want 22nd and 23rd verses. Okay, we're going to go to 22nd and 23rd verse right there. For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall ye hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you. And it shall come to pass that every soul which will not hear that prophet shall be destroyed from among the people. Was he talking about Joseph Smith? Because he's telling Joseph Smith it's about to be fulfilled. Raising up an ensign. He also quoted the 2nd chapter of Joel. I don't know where Joel is. I bet you that's in the Old Testament, since I don't know anything about it. Oh, there is a Joel in the Old Testament. There's 3 chapters. He also quoted the 2nd chapter of Joel from the 28th verse. Okay. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit, and I will show, says Shu, wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord hath said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. That's the end of that. Okay, so I think that's the ones. That's good enough. Alright, so I finished until we get to the part that says the sacred record. So that's going to tell where it's buried and the dimensions and all that stuff. Okay, so I've read enough for right now. I do get excited sometimes. No, my mom and dad were converts to the church, okay? They were converted when they were very young. And actually, My dad, part of his testimony is that his mother was converted, and anything, I'm not sure of my right words, I was going to say, whatever she thought was right with him. So there are a lot of that where we join the church because of our family members or, whatever. We don't always have the full, in fact, you can't have the full picture of anything. It takes time. Line upon line, precept upon precept, you got to get it in your brain. You got to have it digested and make sense to you and add other things to it. And later on down the road, you might, light bulbs start going off. I'm going to take off my glasses so I can't see my eyes all that well. I don't know. But I do need to figure it out, don't I? But the most important thing, at least I'm still doing my channel. And I am trying to reach you people. No, I'm not perfect in any way. I'm not there. But I am trying in my own little way to reach the masses and to let you guys know we all, every one of us, are children of the Most High God. And life is worth living because you need to. You decided to come here all on your own. I guess I can't say that, because we are influenced by people. Satan influenced a whole lot of people and took them with him. But we chose to come here. Everybody who was ever born on this earth chose to be here. And we knew it wasn't going to be easy. But it was necessary. Is necessary. In the big scheme of things, man's search for happiness. We're all out there searching for some type of happiness. But then you've got not just happiness for this life, but you've got the next life and the next life. And that makes it sound like a lot of different lives, but I think you're always the same person. You're added upon. And I'm not sure. I'm really not sure with all this gene stuff. If we all look the same all the way through. I think I'm the same person I was, but I don't know. Will our appearances change? I know that we're taught that in the resurrection we're gonna be perfect. Our body, if we had lost some parts of our body, we'll have them back. I don't know if we'll be perfectly beautiful, but we are children of God, so I would think before all said and done, we'll be perfect. I don't know. All I know is I hope I've done some good today. That was my second video, and those two videos are important. Those two things, Joseph Smith's story, and then Moroni's visit. And then what's coming up after that is going to be showing him where the plates are. And he goes there, I believe, 4 years before he can get them. And so I figure at that time he was 15, and 4 years makes 19. So at 19 years of age, he is translating the Book of Mormon, people. And he did it in a short period of time, really. And And I guess we forget to add, I believe it was Oliver Cowdery, that was his scribe. Because as he is translating, he's reading the book, and Oliver Cowdery is writing it. And I'm not sure if that changed part of the way through or if he was there the whole time. You know, they ran into some problems. They ran into some big problems, you know, like people wanting to get this gold Bible. And, yeah, he's a poor schmuck. He's a poor man. He's not even a man. He's 19, okay? And just think about that. At 14, he saw God and Jesus Christ. And then maybe he was still 14 when he saw Moroni. I'm not sure how much later that was. I didn't get that part. But I mean, if he met Moroni and had that vision and all that stuff in his, we'll say he's 15, and you add 4 years, that's 19. And I think he translated it. God, it seems like it was a short period of time. I don't know how long, but not that long. Not as long as I would have thought. But anyway, he protected those plates. And he was able to show them to the 3 witnesses, I guess. There's I'll have to read that too, I guess. There's a story of 3 witnesses and then another story of 8 witnesses. And I'm not sure what they're witnessing. Okay, they were able to see the gold plates. Probably just the 3. The 3. And I don't know what the 8 were all about. So 3 and 8 is 11. So if it doesn't include Joseph Smith, then that would be 12. Meaning the 12 apostles. I'm not sure when all that comes into play. You know, first you got to have the book. And I know that the church was organized in 1830. And Joseph Smith had the very first vision in 1820. So in 1820, he probably saw Moroni. So let's just go ahead and we can put it up to 1824 or 25, depending. Do a little rounding. 1825. Huh. That would still give how many years? 5? 4? I don't know. I lost myself. I was trying to figure out because he translated the book and then they had to figure out how to get it printed. Things cost money. Anyway, that's enough of that. He did what he was supposed to do. I'm not sure exactly what year he got killed and how old he was, but he wasn't that old. I almost want to say 36, but I don't know. So I shouldn't say things I don't know. I just know he did a great thing, and it was for the whole world. It was for God, actually, but he did it for every creature, human creature. So yeah, I read it not long ago, and I'm not sure where, but it said Joseph Smith has done more for the world, save Jesus Christ. more than even like Moses. So I'm not saying my word's just right, but Joseph Smith was a very important individual. And what he has done potentially will affect the rest of us, all of us. Temple work, the building of temples, all kinds of things. But temple work is for everyone to be joined together